Welcome to Kandi Rapper 11. The last show I said that'd be the last one. April Fools. That's how Wilmer works. So anyway, this morning I want to give my condolences to a neighbor and a friend of mine whose wife was pregnant with twins and lost them both. That's very sad. They were 20 weeks premature. I know all about prematurity as I went through it with my daughter, and she was 3.5 months premature. Anyway, my condolences go out to the Valentine family, Jason and Jolynn. Again, you're in my heart today. Funeral's at 11. I'd like to be there, but I can't. I've this taping, plus I've got too many more commitments this week. So on the other side is talk about a new life. Kyle and his girlfriend Lori, Kyle Christensen, had another friend of mine, old rocker buddy of mine's son, had a 9.7 pound boy, Cohen Craig Christensen. Middle name's named after his dad, our old lead guitar player. I thought that was pretty cool. So anyway, okay. I don't know if I'm ready for this. I went to a city council meeting last night. You know, when I walked in, I saw certain people there again, and usually when those people are there, something's up. They're either there for a handout or they're there in support of who knows what. But of course, things came out, and you know, I said I'm in support of the whole council. You know, I just can't support two of them, Dennis Anderson and Audrey Nelson, for the way they acted last night. Audrey's not going to let this city administrator deal die, and it's too bad because things were just kind of seeming to cool down, and it is what it is, people. You know? But again, at the council meeting, the mayor needs to take control. There was an old guy sitting in front with this old gal that had to have a little outburst, and Calvin never said anything. Now people, when you go to the council meeting, that even smoked me. I think I even told them to be quiet, the guy that said something. People, when you go to that council meeting, there are rules you have to follow. I don't care who you think you are and you have an exemption from doing that. But if you can't control yourself at the meetings, please don't show up, okay? And it's taken all this media, you guys got to be filming stuff. I saw things going on last night that's just, and it's a certain few that are trying to stir this town again. And after the meeting, the verbal attacks from two council people on another one was totally uncalled for. Now this has happened before. After the last meeting, the mayor's campaign manager again verbally attacked one of the council members out in the parking lot, or I don't remember where it was because I had already taken off. You know, this people, and you guys, you write on Facebook and you write on all this like everything's it's so cool that they're doing this. No, it's immature and it's uncalled for. And you guys need to grow up out there. Somebody's going to get hurt. Trust me, people can't keep absorbing this. You know, I came really with good intentions, not even to talking about this city administrator deal, but the way things went down at that meeting last night was just, I'm embarrassed. I'm appalled, as Audrey would say. And I'm appalled at her actions last night. I went back into the meeting after the meeting, went to the bathroom, went back in, was going to ask Mr. Alman if he'd like to go out for a drink, because it looked like he needed it. And so did some other ones, but I wouldn't want to be with them. Okay, now you can say I'm going to have a private meeting. No, I consider Steve my friend. If I can't have friends, well, that's too bad. Get over it. You know, this needs to stop, people. If you want to move Wilmer forward, you don't do stuff like that. And if you're on the council, when the meeting's done, the meeting's done. Why can't you let go? Boy, there's so many personal agendas. You know, when I ran for council, if I'm not mistaken, the whole big 3 pages I got or whatever on what was expected of a council member, these people need to read that. You're supposed to go with an open mind. You aren't supposed to be associating with any public officials. If you talk to anybody, it's supposed to be constituents. And talk to all the constituents. You know, again, when I had that sign here sitting over here, I could have put it up again. I support the city council, and I said the whole council. I still try to do that, but those 2 last night were out of line. People, read what your scope of the job is. You like to pick on certain people, let's pick on them all. But this has got to stop if we're going to move Wilmer forward. Very sad, very sad. But anyway, I want to say, on one of the first Kandi Rappers, I mentioned that we have issues in this town with TB, tuberculosis, HIV, and some cases of leprosy. Now, we never hear about that. I'm going to bring it up again because there's people, we need to be aware of this. You hear commercials on TV for certain meds, they say, do not use if you've had TB. We've never heard that hardly 5 years ago, even 3 years ago on TV. Nobody mentioned TB. It's mentioned all the time. So there has to be something going on. All the medical facilities, health facilities in this town, in this area, in the state, have an infectious disease control person on 24/7, 365. What's that tell you? We have a problem. And people out there say I'm racist. No, I'm not racist. I told you before. God. I can be prejudiced, and I can be prejudiced against white people. I'm not racist. Whoever wants to be here, as long as they work and are not on the system. But boy, there's some white people on the system that call me racist. Get over it. They also say my first 2 programs were unbelievably racist. This one malignant narcissist who writes on Facebook all the time says, he's told me, well, he didn't tell me directly, but he said he missed out on the first three programs of the Kandi Rapper. But now he says the first 2 are unbelievably racist. I don't know where he got a copy of them, but if he did, then show it to your people out there. Let them see how unracist I am. Just because I talk to the demographics in Wilmer doesn't make me a racist, people. It makes me an American, a very proud American that doesn't like what's happening. I am so patriotic. I sit in my living room and I look at that flag and I think of what's happening in America and what's happening in Wilmer, and it really disgusts me because I never had to feel that way before. Come on. Let's have that phoenix rise from the ashes. Let's not be putting more hot coals on this because we don't need this. But again, for those people out there calling me names all the time, hey, you do what you want, and you say, I went out for lunch with Bob Enos. Yeah, Bob's a friend of mine. I worked on his Mercedes for him. I'm a car guy. Took me out for lunch in return. So, does that make me having a special meeting? I have other friends I go out for lunch too. You don't mention them. They say I met after Kandi Rapper 5 with certain council guys down at the MUC. Yeah, I was down at the MUC for a council meeting. You know, get your facts straight before you twist them. And the other people that believe this clown on Facebook, get the true facts. If you need to call me, I'll be happy to tell you. I got my calendar. I write down everything I do. You'll see. You know, hey, to the guy that writes all this stuff, this malignant narcissist, show me your resume. And one thing I got to say, I was also told by somebody that there's a guy who went out and applied for a job. During orientation, got the boot because he had anger management issues in his mouth. Is that you? So be careful. I like to dig too. And I don't need to dig because I have people also telling me. But don't be stating untruths out there, as Kelvin's one of Kelvin's favorite words. But again, getting back to the meeting last night, Mr. Kelvin, you take control and you watch after the meeting. When that meeting gets done, you make sure it's done. If people can't let go, well then maybe we need to recall them too. It isn't those 5 last night, it was 2 of them, Audrey and Dennis. Uncalled for, inappropriate, unacceptable. Let's move on. I was watching 60 Minutes on Sunday night about Homeland Security. The Department, DHS, of Homeland Security said so far they've documented about 180 people leaving America to fight for ISIS and other organizations. They said so far only 40 of them have come back, and they're keeping a close eye on them. There's homegrown extremist investigations in every state in America. You want to call me racist? No, I care about what's going on here. I don't care because they put money in my pocket. These people coming here, I rent to them. No, I don't rent to them. You do. Some of you. I'm just saying, I care about what's going on here. I'm not letting my guard down because I love this country. So call me racist, call me what you want. I don't like what's going on here. More threats against Obama than any other president in history. You talk about me? Well, he's your man, though. And when I say he's your man, I'm talking to certain people who like to bash me. There's 250,000 employees in the Department of Homeland Security. Do we feel safe? I don't. I mean, in Wilmer, no, I'm safe. Trust me. But again, things are out of whack. The old Irish Republican Army, IRA, and another deal on 60 Minutes is pretty neat. Bad part is Boston College kind of stirred up the ashes, kind of like what happened last night at the council meeting. And, you know, Belfast still has segregation between Catholic and Protestant. They call them peace walls. It's a walled city, people, for miles, with big iron gates and stuff. That deal still isn't over. That's still brewing, and it's just a matter of time before that fuse gets really smoking and they have a good blow up over there. I don't know. Things are not good all over. But I don't care about all over. What I care about is here. Because I can try to do something, voice my opinion, and hope things can change. I don't dwell on what I say to if something changes or not. All I can do is voice my opinion. Like I said, I have other priorities in life. You know, like say I'm a car guy. Going to a car show coming up here pretty quick. A friend of mine just took a 56 Chevy pickup to Donnie Smith Bike and Car Show last weekend. That I put the airbag system in front and remodified the back end so he can set it right on the ground, put some neat exhaust and step boards on the side of his pickup. He won first place in his class. You know, I have many talents, probably more than this guy that writes about me. But I don't brag about it. And on the other side is, I'm going to say to him, if you have to brag about what certain people have done in this town and knock down other people and say that this certain person is more special than somebody else. If you have to brag all the time, well, maybe what they've done in the past isn't so memorable. Their actions should speak for themselves. But again, I have other priorities. Hey, I'm not doing what you say I'm doing, but people don't believe them. I try to have fun. Last night after the meeting, I went out to see a buddy of mine. He was doing karaoke. Had a beer. Talked to some people. We had fun. Yeah, it was kind of like Cheers last night. Everybody said, hey, see ya, you know. When we left, everybody had a good time. That's the way it should be. Anyway, Wilmer City Council wants town hall meeting results. Excuse me again. It's like I said, it's breezy here. And I'm breezy, like it or not. Okay, records. This one, I know you don't like me saying it, certain people, but here's a good thing. Missing boy. He was found. That's a good thing. The boy was found on 1500 block of South First Street. Tell you, with some of the predators we have in this town, I'm glad he was found. And then we have a friend of mine, got to mention this. A friend of mine just moved back from southern South Dakota. Has some land around Wilmer. I ran into him yesterday. Hadn't seen him for a while. Hey, Bob, need to talk to you. We were talking. He says, God, I drove around Wilmer, he said, and when I got home, I told the wife, well, I guess we need to pack and move on. He doesn't like what he saw around Wilmer. He grew up here too. But he said, you know, this area tries to promote themselves as a recreational vacation spot. Here's a quote he said, you come here on vacation and you leave on probation. And I said, what do you mean? He says, there's no tolerance here. He said, you know, you can't hardly go out for a couple of drinks, especially in the Spicer area. He said, you know, you'll get thrown in jail, get picked up. He said, boom. They promote it, but on the other side, it's like a setup. So, hey, that's just coming from him and another person that sees what's going on and doesn't like it here, who grew up here. Well, then we got another one on the records. Man faces assault charge after incident. 25-year-old guy uptown here. Badal Hussein Ali, I don't know, misdemeanor charges, 5th degree assault, trespassing. And then he was granted a public defender. Okay, we're paying for that one too. 400 block of Litchfield Avenue Southwest. Not good up here, people. We need to do something. I know that's only one person, but there's more going on that we don't hear about. I hear things all the time, but it never seems to get reported. I'm going to be going out, talking to Jim Felt and ask him what's going on. I try to keep tabs on, and I try to report stuff that's going on here. And you people don't like to believe it. Believe it. It's not hard to see. But then this guy threatened some people, and then he had broke a glass on a door, and he grabbed one of the pieces of glass, large shard, and went after somebody with that shard. Pretty sad. But you guys uptown here support all this stuff. Sorry. Let's hear about it on your side. So on this guy that writes on Facebook said, you won't get shot having a beer uptown here, like maybe going out the old roller rink. No, might not get shot. Probably get stabbed with something sharp. Hey. Hopefully not. But that's the way it is. That's how Wilmer works. Wilmer wind turbines. What's up with them puppies? For 3 weeks now at least, the north one hasn't been running. Runs once in a while. I was told that their sensor's wrong. Come on, let's get that thing working. Scheduled maintenance, it says, is underway this week. Scheduled maintenance? They had to wait till maintenance? Why didn't they get that one fixed? Then it says, technicians arrived Saturday to begin scheduled semi-annual maintenance activities. Again, who isn't? Why can't we keep these puppies running? But nothing said of why the north one hasn't been running. They just say they're both going to be down off and on for maintenance. You want to recall somebody? Boom. How about the people responsible for this $10 million plus boondoggle? Different story though, isn't it? You people. You just like to tax certain ones and the other stuff, it's not a big deal. I don't know. I know you lost your ally and you feel left alone, excuse me. But, hey. Avian flu strikes Kandi County. Now, I've talked about this one in the last two. It was just a matter of time. Boom, here we got it. Total of 343,000 birds affected so far in Minnesota that have had to be put down. This one here, Kandi County Poultry Farm, with 26,000 birds tested positive for the highly pathogenic H5N2 avian influenza. At this point, no workers have exhibited any symptoms since the disease first started showing up in Minnesota poultry barns last month. It says once the virus gets in a flock of domestic birds, it spreads quickly. The risk of human infection is very low. But then it says there is no evidence that people can acquire avian flu by eating poultry products. Well, like I said, the last one, I ain't doing it. That's all it's to it. But then it says right underneath it, says, as a reminder, all poultry and eggs should be properly handled and cooked to an internal temperature of 165 degrees. So that's kind of contradictory to me. But again, people, it's moving. Be careful. I don't trust anybody saying it's safe to eat. Okay, Wilma School Board meets on Tuesday for search of a superintendent. Again, we've lost our Wilmer Fire Chief now, superintendent, and our city administrator. They all quit. Say what you want. See ya. Why do we get people here that don't want to be here? It's just a stepping stone for them, you know, and then you people want to support them. Oh, I'm sure there's way more. And then people say, oh, he's got information that only the council knew. When I said I was told by someone, I was told by a friend of one of the three, not the five. How do you like that one? And by the way, Audrey Nelson and I used to be friends. I met her in like 1977 when I lived out in Green Lake for a while. All of us that lived out there, her husband's classmate of mine, we all partied together. We did a lot of stuff together, pontooned together, boated, had a good time. But through the political views here and our differences, I tried to say she's still my friend, but that's kind of hard after the way she acted last night. So, hey, you people that didn't know that, it's the way it is. But like I say, things change. Then we got a man tied to 2005 drive-by shootings, receives reduced sentence after appeal. That's a good thing. Maybe not, but good for him. You know, I don't even want to go with this anymore. Wilmer police squad car sideswiped by drunk driver early this morning. Oh, that was on, I don't know, on the 3rd. Was that Saturday, Sunday, whatever? Man, that's a good way to not be noticed on your way home, but you got it. So again, people, you know, a friend of mine called me too and said, hey, Just after this town hall meeting, they want Wilmer to be more of an entertainment center, and they said, why? There's plenty of entertainment here right now. Bingo. Ain't that the truth? Oh, yeah. But again, Kandi Rapper at charter.net. Got a comment? Lay it on me. I'll try to return your emails. There's a quote here I gotta say before I go. And I've said this before. Get your facts first, then you can distort them as you please. Mark Twain. Seems like people don't want to do that, and a lot of nasty stuff being said out there about people that's not true and people believe in because these guys write on electronic media. I don't know. And another thing is, come down and do this show to my favorite narcissists out there. Hey, you have the right. You say, I don't have balls. This program does have backbone. I wouldn't be doing it if it didn't. But come down here and say some of the stuff that you say. Bash some of the businesses in Wilmer you've bashed in the past. See how it goes for you. But people, this channel, this program can be used by anybody. And I'm proof of that, because I'm a nobody in Wilmer, according to certain people. But hey, I want to voice my opinion because I don't like what's going on here. There's good things happening here, but bring them to my attention. But again, domestic violence in this town and other violence needs to be curbed. And that friend of mine that just moved back from Dakota also said, geez, I looked on an online jail inmate, and he says, it's all drug and alcohol related. He says, what's happened to our town? There you go. But we seem to approve every business that comes in that wants to sell alcohol. I don't know what we gain from that, but I think we have a problem here that we need to really take a close look at. But we seem not to, I suppose it provides jobs, so that's okay. And for the people that have issues with alcohol or drugs, we don't want to address it, and we probably should. You know, I don't know. Here's a good one. Keep gas prices affordable. It's really hard to get a raise at work, so it's been nice for my family to have gotten a raise at the gas pump. Boy, how true is that? Do we have any control over it? No. I hope we see some reasonable prices in the years to come, but I kind of doubt it. Last fall, they said by this coming fall, gas is going to be up to $5. So far, it hasn't seemed to be encroaching close to that, but we know how things can change in the U.S. or even in the state. But this was a good one here, this letter from Phil Clary. That was kind of cool. I'm just about out of time, people. Here's a man gets 11 years for sexual assault of a 13-year-old. That was in Burnsville. But let's see how Wilmer treats this guy and the other predators in this town, because that's an issue we need to lock up tight. It says here too, Minnesota lawmakers can't agree on how to fix the state sex offender program. Yeah, well, I give you an idea of how to do it, but then I'd really be prejudiced, racist, whatever. So, I gotta stop because I'm running out of time. But again, I said Kandi Rapper. Oh, next week I won't be on. Rudy's going to be gone, so we're going to take a little week hiatus here. So you're going to have to wait for Kandi Rapper 12. But again, I thank all of you for watching it. It's the most requested show on Rack 8, and I appreciate it. And like it or not, please, if you don't like it, don't watch it. And don't comment on it if you don't like it. But I know some of you just feel you have to because you have nothing else better to do. But hey, I've had fun doing it, and I'm going to keep doing it. So until Kandi Rapper 12 in another week, hey, try to find a reason to smile because we sure need it in this town. But anyway, hey, thanks again. See ya.